Cyril Ramaphosa has just pulled the trigger on two powerful new laws in South Africa, reshaping the future of policing and language in ways that few expected, while the country still reels from corruption scandals that threaten the very core of its democracy. The timing, the people involved, and the consequences could not be more dramatic. For those unfamiliar with the situation, South Africa has been battling waves of political corruption, police controversies, and public distrust in leadership for years. At the same time, debates around language, identity, and cultural recognition have remained unresolved since the dawn of democracy. Against this backdrop, Ramaphosa has now gazetted two major pieces of legislation that will change the way law enforcement operates and how multilingualism is enforced across the nation. The first law, the Independent Police Investigative Directorate Amendment Act of 2024, directly addresses a constitutional court ruling that dates back to 2016. That ruling, known as the McBride Judgment, demanded that South Africa create a police watchdog body that was truly independent, one that could investigate police misconduct without interference or bias. Until now, the promise of that ruling was only partially fulfilled. Ramaphosa's move finally brings most of that court ruling to life. The IPID Amendment Act hands investigators sweeping powers, allowing them to probe the most serious crimes committed by members of the South African Police Service or municipal police forces, including allegations of rape and deaths caused by officers, whether they were on duty or not. It is a direct challenge to the culture of impunity that has haunted the police for decades. But this comes at a volatile time. Just weeks ago, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi made explosive claims that a powerful criminal syndicate has infiltrated South Africa's police and intelligence structures. He even accused the Minister of Police, Sentsom Chunu, of interfering with investigations and dismantling the police killings task team in KwaZulu-Natal. The country was stunned. In response, Cyril Ramaphosa suspended Sentsom Chunu and appointed Professor Firoz Kekalia as the acting police minister. He also ordered a special judicial inquiry into police corruption to be led by retired Deputy Chief Justice Mbayiseli Madlinga. Yet, that commission, meant to begin yesterday, has already been delayed due to logistical failures. The symbolism could not be sharper. On one hand, South Africa finally has an independent police watchdog with stronger powers. On the other, the corruption within law enforcement is so deep that even attempts to investigate it stumble before the first hearing begins. The clash between progress and decay is happening in real time. For ordinary citizens, this new IPID Act might mean greater accountability when officers abuse their power. Families who have lost loved ones in suspicious police killings may finally see investigations carried out without political interference. Survivors of police-related crimes could find their cases taken seriously, no matter the rank of the accused. But the question remains, will the system be allowed to work, or will corruption suffocate it once again? At the same time, Ramaphosa has brought into effect the 2014 South African Language Practitioners Council Act, a law that has been gathering dust for more than a decade. The new legislation establishes a formal council tasked with regulating, accrediting, and monitoring professional language practitioners across the country. This may sound technical, but it strikes at the heart of South Africa's multilingual identity. The country has 11 official languages, yet English and Afrikaans often dominate access to education, government services, and business. The new council is designed to ensure that citizens can access information, services, and justice in their own languages. Imagine a rural citizen being able to deal with government in isiZulu, isiXhosa, or Sepedi without barriers. Imagine a court case where a defendant's rights are protected not just by law, but by clear understanding in their mother tongue. For many South Africans, this act could be a turning point in making equality a lived reality, not just a constitutional promise. But the timing raises eyebrows. Why, after 11 years of delay, has this act suddenly come to life? Some critics argue it's a distraction, a convenient announcement designed to soften the blow of police corruption scandals. Others see it as a genuine effort to fulfill long-ignored obligations. Did you expect this twist? While the nation debates, the fact remains, two new laws are now in place, both of which will shape the relationship between citizens and the state. The reactions so far have been mixed. Civil rights groups and anti-corruption activists have cautiously welcomed the IPID Amendment Act, calling it a long-overdue step toward justice. Yet many fear it will be useless without political will. After all, what good is a watchdog if it is starved of resources or ignored when it barks? Meanwhile, the Language Practitioners' Council Act has sparked both celebration and skepticism. Linguists and cultural activists applaud it, arguing that language is a form of dignity. But some critics say the council may become just another bureaucratic body, more focused on paperwork than on transforming lives. For Cyril Ramaphosa, these laws are more than policy decisions. They are political statements. They signal a presidency under pressure, trying to project reform and action while simultaneously firefighting scandals that threaten his legitimacy. Every decision he makes now is seen through the lens of whether he can survive the storm. And what of the suspended police minister, Sensom Chinu? His fate hangs in the balance. If the inquiry proves Mkwanatsi's allegations true, it would not only end Mchinu's career but expose a terrifying level of state capture within the very forces meant to protect the nation. If the inquiry fails, it risks becoming yet another chapter in South Africa's long history of failed commissions. The stakes could not be higher. On the ground, South Africans continue to face rising crime, police brutality, and deep mistrust of institutions. The hope is that these laws, one targeting corrupt policing, the other uplifting neglected languages, will start to rebuild faith in the system. But hope is fragile. How would your community respond if such sweeping changes happened overnight? Would you trust that the reforms would protect you, or would you fear they are simply political theater? In the coming months, the true test will be implementation. Will the IPID be granted the independence it has been promised? Will the Language Practitioners' Council enforce meaningful access to services in all languages, or will it sit idle? And will Ramaphosa's government have the courage to face the corruption hiding in plain sight? This story is far from over, and the questions it raises are as urgent as ever. Do you believe justice has really been served? Or is this just another performance in the endless theater of South African politics? If you found this story as gripping as we did, don't let it fade away. Hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more powerful real-life stories that matter. Because in times like these, awareness is not just information, it's power.